Oh hi there big boys, so welcome to my review of Blood Will Be Spilled for Nintendo Switch and also other places. This is an interesting game with two different types of gameplay wrapped into one little ball of gameplay. And they also link together quite well. So the first one is a pretty simple platformer with not brilliant platforming, but it's serviceable, it does the job, but it's not great. And the second one is a turn-based strategy game, quite similar to SteamWorld Heist, if you've played that game, but a bit different. It's pretty fun, to be fair. I think both game modes on their own are pretty decent, but they work together quite well, and it's quite fun. But here's the main problem I have with the game, is that I find it really, really hard, to be honest. I don't know why, but I just find it, well, actually I do know why, and I'll get to that. But yeah, so there's no difficulty settings, and that's something to keep in mind. Firstly, for a lot of people that's going to put them off, and for me it puts it off because I find the game too hard. And the main problem, the problem I have with the game being so hard is it's not actually that difficult to win the battles. The problem is that it sort of becomes a bit of an endurance test because you don't get any way of regenerating your health points unless you pick up potions, which are only a limited amount in each map. And let's say you start, and there are checkpoints to be fair, but the checkpoint won't restore your health. You'll have the same amount of health you had at the start, which to me is bad because that means you get forced in with like 2 HP. You haven't got any potions, you're screwed. There is technically a way of getting health back because you can suck blood out of people to get your health back, but realistically, that's quite hard to achieve. And yeah, it's not the best way to get your health back. So yeah, I think really they should just make it so there's a way to regen HP outside of combat. Or just I only go to a checkpoint and restart HP. That would be a massive quality of life benefit for me, and I find this game a lot more fun. And the combat is pretty decent. There's lots of there's like skill trees, and there's different skills you can use. Some of them are pretty fun. They like go through walls and all sorts of stuff. As I said earlier, you can suck people's blood out and stuff like that. It's pretty decent. But a lot of the time the combat is spent moving about, and that's not particularly fun because you'll shoot someone, then they'll move, then you've only done half damage. You have to then move to shoot them again, but then it's just basically just a lot. Every character seems to move all the time, and it gets kind of boring just moving around, especially when you get these enemies that shoot in a straight line to your position, and you just have to move to avoid them every time, which just means you have to move then shoot someone, which means you end up with less action points. You can't do as much shooting and stuff like that, and but you also have to reload, and it's just, yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's too much of the game is spent moving. It needs to be, I don't know, do something. I don't know what they'd say. Maybe there is cover you can get behind, but I mean, that's kind of why, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, the combat I think is pretty decent. I think it's much better than the platforming for sure, but I just wish there was more of a way to regenerate your HP, because killing enemies is pretty fun and satisfying and not difficult, to be honest. But yeah, the platforming is definitely finicky as well. Like, jumping just doesn't feel right. You never really feel like you're gonna climb, and sometimes you're gonna miss stuff. There was a few times where it just, like, your character just didn't grab onto what you're trying to grab, and just didn't work, so that was a bit awkward. But you know, art style's really good. I like the art style a lot. It's got an interesting story and writing to it as well. I mean, sort of, but well, kind of. But the art style is really nice, though. It suits the game really well, and like the theme is what I meant by that is really nice as well. So yeah, that's all good. That's all lovely. The game's about 5 hours long, so not brilliant, but you know, something to keep in mind. And yeah, the levels are quite long. Each level is probably about an hour or so, and that means, as I said earlier, if you end up with like no HP and you're sort of screwed, then you have to redo the entire level, which is really annoying. So yeah, definitely would be better if you could regen your HP. But you know, and the skill trees you get are quite nice. You can make each playthrough a bit different and all that. Yeah, it's an alright game, but as I say, I've stopped playing the game now because I was starting to find I basically got to a point where I realised realistically I can't do this challenge unless I regenerate my HP or I start over, and I can't be bothered, so I stopped. But you know, it's definitely a decent game and runs pretty decently on Switch as well. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this game to people that like these sort of games, but be aware that it is mostly a turn-based strategy game. The platforming is just there to sort of a bit of exploration and a bit of a break between the strategies. I do really like. I think that's a good idea. So you know. Anyway, that was Blood Will Be Spilled for Nintendo Switch. Thanks for watching. I'll see you some other point in time, and bye.